My name is Michael Watson, and I'm one of the many passionate guides on Tiritiri Matangi. Tiri is a magical island off the coast of Auckland which touches the lives of visitors and saves the lives of its diverse and endangered residents.
Ka tangi te tui, ka tangi te korimako, ka tangi hoki a hau, ti hei mauri ora. Like the tui voice their presence, like the bellbirds voice their presence, I too voice my presence, ti hei mauri ora. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, a kia ora mai tātou katoa.
The Department of Conservation works very closely with the supporters of Tiritiri Matangi, and this partnership supports an army of dedicated volunteers who together act as kaitiaki or guardians. Much of the wildlife you will find on Tiritiri Matangi are in trouble on the mainland, and until recently some were even missing entirely. Their fate has been in our hands since we got here, and unfortunately pests that we introduced, such as rodents and stoats, possums and hedgehogs, continue to eat their way through their fractured, unsuspecting and vanishing communities. Species like the bellbird, the hihi, the takahe, kakariki and the kokako, they all find a home here on the island. And their populations are so successful that they are relocated to other islands, including the mainland, to start new populations there. So it's a very special island. I became a kaitiaki for Tiri around 6 years ago and found a real love for guiding. As a guide, I take the public, including schools, into the forest and share all the different taonga or treasure spanning across an array of fauna and flora, and I tell them about their history and what's so special about them, but also what we can do to protect them now. As a boy, my grandparents used to take me into wild places. I remember when I was 8, my grandpa told me about Tiritiri and showed me this brochure which depicted all these birds that had been missing from our adventures up until that point. This was a real turning point for me as I started to realise that these birds were different from the magpies and fantails I used to see so often. Not just in how they looked though, but we needed to travel to an island to see them. That's when my interest gained a purpose and conservation became the goal. As a conservation project, Tiri actually started with a bird, the bellbird, which at that time was actually thought to be extinct through Auckland northwards. But in 1969, a count on Tiri uncovered 24 of these small birds. News spread quickly and intrigue in this small island began to snowball. This is when the intervention through the planting of trees and introduction of other rare species became more and more justified. And with these seeds, a forest began to regrow. I came to Tiri for the birds, but it was the people that made me stick. So it's sort of this family dynamic that we have here, and the success of all those volunteers who came before us is contagious and impossible to ignore.
The special thing about Tiri is how accessible it is, and it's a piece of paradise. It's like visiting a different country. The wildlife is different, the feel's different, the culture's different. And when you go back, you will feel recharged. When people first arrived in Aotearoa, New Zealand, it was a massive island nation of forest. When we fly over New Zealand today, all we're looking at It's our activity, our farms. There's no longer a forest for a community to live in. There's just concrete, grass, cows, polluted rivers, some of the worst polluted rivers in the world. Today you can see that our priority is us. It's all about us. Tiritiri is a symbol of preservation. It's basically proof that when we work together and when we focus on the greater good, we can accomplish something like this. It's a real pleasure for me to share my interest and this special place with other people. I feel extremely privileged to be able to do that. We can drive others to care or to even think about what they buy, when they drive their car, how they commute, what they spend their money on. It's a really powerful thing.
I hope that in the future, younger people will be inspired to join us and take over as the island's new kaitiaki. Our planet is worth fighting for, and Tiri is proof of what we can achieve if we really want to make a change and regenerate nature. You have a lot of power as an individual. Being a part of a community project like Tiritiri Matangi or any of the hundreds of community projects around New Zealand right now doesn't just give nature a chance, it gives us a chance too. This isn't just my interest, my responsibility, or my story. It's all of ours.